the event did get sold out, and there were a lot of people that were unhappy. So we wanted to make sure that our clients had an opportunity to sign up first. So I'll drop a link in at the end of the program. I'm speaking, David's speaking. I have a good friend of mine who did an amazing TEDx talk. She'll be speaking. And we have Robert Refkin, Rory Gallad, and Neda Nawab also coming as to do some fireside chat. So it will be an action-packed event, and we're really aiming to figure out how we can teach agents to really be future-proof, right? This business just continues to evolve, and I'm realizing quickly that there's a different set of skills, a different thought process, and a different way that we really need to approach the way we do business. And that's what that May event is all about. There'll be collaboration, there'll be connectivity. Some of our clients are planning some crazy party for that evening. So I'll drop the link in. It's in Boston. So it will be in Boston. And hopefully the next event that we do in the second half of the year will be going out west. So I will give you a link now and later. Oops, that's not the link. So let me start our session today. So today I want to talk about self-reflection, right? We are almost, in a few weeks, we'll be through the first quarter of the year. And one of the challenges I find that agents have with business plans and anything else like that is they write them and they never talk about them again. Who here has looked at their business plan recently? One person. I don't know who you are, but I love you. Pam Grant in California, up early, right? So if you think about your business plan, I broke it down into a few different areas. Now, there's obviously a goal that you have to reach, but there are two parts to this goal. There's like this concept of how do I find clients, right? Lead generation. Now, the second part, Stephen, appreciate that, right? The second part of this is actually servicing clients, right? It's skills. You need skills to convert people. So you could write this down. Technology is created to help you be organized, improve productivity, and help you find clients. Organize, improve productivity, and help you find clients. The second part of that is, then what do you do? Remember those conversations we had last week about those dialogues? I want a deal. I don't know if it's the right market to buy. We'll post a link to the forum. We have all of our 10 by 10 people that we went through a similar conversation with. And there's all these people that want to role play. There's literally dozens of people on there. So today we'll drop the link in for all of you. And I encourage you all to respond to someone and reach out and connect with someone you've never met before and start building your agent relationships, right? So if you think about these buckets, like I would write 3 different areas I want you to focus on and review your plan. Number 1, obviously prospecting and lead gen, right? Number 2, it's your skills. And number 3, agent relationships. How are you effectively growing your agent database? Now, for everyone here, right, it's about, let's see, 9 weeks into the year. What are your biggest challenges you feel from where you started in December to today? What's the biggest challenge that you're facing? What do you got? Drop in the chat. So time would mean time blocking. So here's the thing. Number 1, all right, so when I come back next week, next Monday, we'll do a session on winning multiple offer situations. I have a template I can give you and everything else. So that we'll do next Monday based on what you guys said. Now, here's the reality. Time blocking is a discipline issue, right? You can write that down. Time blocking is a discipline issue. Now, this, you might as well put a sign on this thing that says the devil, because all of the stuff you want to do is not done because this thing is here like, hey, I got an email. Hey, somebody's calling me. Hey, somebody texted me. And my favorite one is, I call that Instagram circle, you know, the one we sit and hit stories on, the circle of death. Those are your 4 biggest detractors, right? What stops you? And I'd write this down. What stops you? Oh, the workplace. It's another black hole. 5 things that stop you from your goal: phone calls, emails, text messages, social media, and workplace. Now, here's a fun exercise I want you all to do. If you take your phone and you look at your average screen time, most of you won't want to admit what it is. Then you can look at your pickups. Then you could use first used after pickup, right? That means what you're picking up your phone and you're doing. See, I set an intention this Monday morning on showing you all how to be more productive, right? So all of us need to realize that, well, most of us, I don't know of all of you, I can't say this, are cell phone addicts. And that there's a direct correlation between being busy answering phone calls, emails, and text messages and making money. Correct? No one wants to talk about this. But if you don't understand how to be productive, you're never going to grow, and it's going to keep being on this hamster wheel. Listen to me very carefully when I say this to you, and I'm saying this with love and care. The only thing I care about is that you take what we speak about in here and you bring it into your life, and that you use it, and that it helps you grow professionally and personally. If social media is being used for your business, bucket it into a time. Make it a time block. You have to apply what you learned, but you have to understand the essence of great performance. What do great performers do? What are the, like, I can tell you right now, do you want to know what agents that I work with that do 2, 3, 4, $5+ million in GCI do, and what those common traits are? Number 1, they're incredibly focused. Number 2, they don't let their planned and purposeful versus reactive and frantic. Planned and purposeful versus reactive and frantic. The last time I checked, all of you signed listing agreements with your clients, correct? So why do you feel if you don't answer their call for a few hours, they're going to fire you? You have a signed contract. It is illegal. They can't just fire you. They can tell you they don't want to work with you anymore, and then you have every right to hold them in the contract till that date. Great. You don't want to work with me? That's no problem. I'll withdraw your property, and when the contract term is done, you're free to relist with somebody else. Well, I don't want to do that. Great. Then let me refer you to another agent. Would you like to refund my advertising fees, my marketing fees, compensate me for my time? No. So we're in a contract together. When you're in a lease, no matter how bad the car is, can you get out of it? Nope. Because you signed a contract. Do you think BMW, Toyota, or Hyundai cares how upset you are? No, because you signed a contract. So planned and purposeful versus reactive and frantic. Let's look at some of these other comments in here. So prospecting while dealing with low inventory and working hard at off-market properties. So do you know that Agent Finder app that they rolled out at the retreat, right? That one that says, hey, this is meant to find referrals. Do you know what else that thing is really meant to help you find? Off-market deals, right? So Just like the same concept of like, okay, I can put in a geographic city, I can put in certain type of parameters, and I could specialize in a certain type of home, right? If I were an agent right now and I had buyers looking in an area, I would be going on that agent finder every single day, typing in the areas that my buyers are, and I would be calling every single agent. Hey, it's Chirag Shah from Compass. How are you? I see that you have sold properties like this in the past. Do you have anything off market or anything coming up I could share with my clients? Right? Great. You know what? If not, just keep me in mind. If you ever have off market deals, could you add me to your distro list? Build your relationships. Do you know how many clients I have doing deals off market? A lot. This is how they're doing it. They're picking up the phone. If any of you have ever seen Matt Breitenbach stuff in the Hamptons, right? And if you follow him on Instagram, you see him doing all these deals. Matt is on the phone 3 hours a day, generally calling people, just looking for deals. Because in the Hamptons, a lot of the deals are done off market, especially the larger ones. But he just calls and calls and calls. And the more people you call, the more conversations you have. The more conversations you have, the more you can be a connector. The more you can be a connector, the more valuable you become to other people. The more valuable you become to other people, the more other people want to help you. It's a circle. So are you putting in the time to really reach out to other agents? Not just at Compass. Compass is 0 to 1. Other agents at other companies could have inventory too. Use the technology that's in front of you to speed up the process. So now none of this works if time blocking doesn't work. Time blocking, listen, there's no different. Time blocking is the adult's job version of dieting, right? We all have a choice. That cookie always looks good. That ice cream always looks good. That chicken parm wedge is always going to look good. That pasta dish is always going to look good. But it's a choice if you decide to order it or not. It's a choice when you choose the salad. It's a choice when you choose to pass on dessert. Working out is a choice too, right? Something you choose to do every day. You could choose to stay in your bed, or you could choose to wake up and work out. So what kind of choices do you make to be committed to your time block? Remember, guys, that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is the easiest thing in the world to get 20 deals. The only thing it requires you to do is 2 things. 1, time block. 2, execute. You're telling me you don't have 90 minutes every single day to reach out to people? That's your job. Here's another skill of top performers. If they're not actively reaching out to people, they start freaking out. No matter how much money they have, the best agents I know, if they're not constantly in momentum of doing this, they don't ever let busy fool them of being productive. They know if they're not actively engaging with people, they're not going to have a business one day. And in this market, if you're not in touch with your people, believe me, somebody else is. Would it be helpful for all of you if we were able to create an accountability prospecting session right after this call? All right, so we have some people. We have 10 out of 100. 12, going 12, going 12, going 12. Do I see 13, 13, 13? Come on, one more person. There we go, 13. Do we have 14? Like, come on, guys. Like, let's figure this out. If you can't do it alone, put your dignity on the line in front of other people, right? That's how accountability works. Most people show up for other people better than themselves. So we're working with a couple agents, and this is something, this does not exist today, right? We're learning and listening to what is best for you guys, because we want to make sure, like I said in the beginning, that you actually use this stuff and you follow through it. There's so many things coming at you today, right? So we need to go back and be grounded in our goals, right? So remember the 3 things. Prospecting, this is connecting with their database. Number 2 is our skills. Remember those dialogues, we posted them in the group. Like the videos are cut, the scripts are there. You need to practice what to say to people. When somebody says to you, I want a deal, you should say, great, I hear you want a deal. What does a deal look like to you? Can you have that conversation fluidly, confidently? Do you think that people asking for a deal is just a special problem? No. Being able to weed out unrealistic buyers and sellers is a part of your job. Helping buyers write offers that they'll actually buy a house is part of your job. So I said this to someone the other day in a coaching call that I was doing, and they really liked it. You should probably want to write this line down. So, you walk somebody through the market, you ask them questions, right? And you have them explain the market, right? You're going to say, how many days did this stay on the market for? 4 days. What would that mean to you? Does it mean it's competitive? No, it's very competitive. Like, what was the list price to sales price? 110%, 110%. Well, what does that tell you? That somebody paid this much money. People are paying. So would it safe to say, Wendy, you agree that people are paying above the asking price at homes, and that the 4 days shows you it's very competitive? Yes. And then at the end of it, right, this is what they're selling for. So now, Wendy, you want to buy a house in this neighborhood. How much would you pay for the same exact house, knowing you had access to all this data, because the agents and their clients do too? If the house was $1 million, it sold at $1.1 million, right? And the person wants to pay a dollar less, then you, instead of explaining, you need the skill to be able to say, interesting, given that we all have access to the same data, if you're a seller, what specifically would make you take less for this home? What specifically would make you take less for this home? And they're going to say, well, I really don't want to overpay, or I really want a deal. You're going to say, Wendy, given that this is the market and this is the data and this is what sellers and the buyers and everyone's looking at, is it safe to say that if you wanted to buy a home in this market, generally speaking, within probably 1% or maybe even more going up, that's what you have to pay for a home? Yes, but I still want a deal. So if I knew that a home, isn't this what people do? I could see a few people laughing, right? You explain it to them as if you're reading a book to a 5-year-old, and they're going to turn around and they're going to say, but I still want a deal. And this is the $1 million line. If I knew something was impossible to get, and I took your time weekend after weekend, showing you homes, potentially selling you an impossible dream, would that be ethical or unethical? Knowing that I'm taking you out, knowing you could never buy something based on what you wanted. I would find bringing someone out under those pretenses unethical. You're literally lying to them. The data is smack in front of you. You know that, well, I want to only pay $950,000 for one of these houses. You know it's not possible. You know what, guys? Great. We'll go out and see. We'll see what can happen, right? Because they're pre-approved. They have a real reason to move, and they're sitting in front of you. And again, you mixed up productivity with profitability. Excuse me, being busy with being profitable. Miriam, you should thank God you don't have clients like that, because the majority of people do. Right? Hit yes if you had a client where you've gone through the entire market with them and they're still like delusional with like grown-up style data that you've explained this stuff as like a child. Right? A lot of people do. But these are all tools in your tool belt, and you need to be prepared to do this. I don't care if it's a low inventory market or a surplus market, you're going to have people that want a deal, and they'll go out every single weekend thinking that you can make magic happen. Right? The old conversations like, oh, I want to buy a property 10% under market. Great. If I can find 10% under market homes, what makes you think I wouldn't buy them for myself? It's a logical question. So what I want all of you to do is this. Take on your piece of paper and write down one thing that you have to change. And then one thing that you're going to do differently tomorrow. We need to go back. Remember, like at the end of December, we're all excited. But this is where people get stuck in the year, right? They don't go backwards. So anyone that's not a master at time blocking that wants a prospect, I encourage you to reach out to somebody on this call, right? And literally go in the thing and say, let's prospect together. And literally we get on Zoom just like this. You hit the mute button, you do your stuff, I do my stuff. but we're forced to show up here every day. It's not even a place to talk. You literally just get on silence. Sometimes our team will work like this, right? When we need to be all really productive, like we had 3 of us on a call yesterday, on Friday, and none of us said anything, but we all worked on our projects and none of us got distracted. It was a great accountability for me as well, because like I have emails, I have call, like, and it was just zoned out. We got a lot done. These are all things that you all can do. It's about making your life simple. Those 3 things, if you really focus on them, they compound over the year. So can we all make sure one thing that you need to change and one thing that you're going to do differently tomorrow? Make this a tomorrow thing, right? So a couple things. Where are the 3? You can write this down. Number 1, it's prospecting and lead gen. If you're not reaching out to your likely to sell people because you're afraid of what people are going to say, you're out of your mind. I'm going to just flat out say this in the most blunt, direct way. Believe me, the feelings, your feelings being hurt is a lot better than not having money. And if you've ever not had money in your life, I've not had money in my life, and it's not pretty. It's terrible. It's the worst feeling in the world. You walk around with this pit in your stomach, especially if you have kids, right? And this is where you do all this crazy thing and you take on bad clients. Just send the email. We have email scripts and everything from our past sessions when we did this. Number 2, work on your skills. Start tracking, right? What are the biggest challenges you're having in the field? What are the biggest challenges you're having in the field? And then understand how to work on them. As you can see, my commitment for the rest of this month, before we go to Pitch and Compass and sales and everything else next month, is learning from reality, right? It's how can I be the best coach and partner to you what you're dealing with today? No one really is talking about all this stuff, right? Like it's like I look around, I read Inman articles, I look at other coaches and everything else. It's like no one's really acknowledging this. And this is the number 1 thing I want you to focus on. And number 3, it's agent relationships. Make sure you go on that Compass app and the agent finder and start looking up agents in the price point you're looking at and just start calling everybody. Smile and dial, baby. That's all it is. Hey, this is Corey from Compass. I see you sold homes like this. I have some buyers looking in the area. Do you have any off-market deals that you could share with me? No, I don't. Or yeah, I do, right? Do you have any clients that are looking to sell if they had the right offer but don't want to go on market? Everyone has people like that. Remember Zillow used to have Make Me Move, like the Make Me Move price? That's what people really have, right? And if you're talking with someone that's curious, you're going to say, look, what we find is most people have a number. The number is called the Make Me Move number. If someone gave me this much money, I'd gladly figure out where I could live next. Is this a place you're committed to staying in and that you're happy, or is there a Make Me Move number? Oh, there's a Make Me Move number. Well, why is that number important to you? And then you start digging into why it's important to them. And this is how all this stuff works. And the more you do it, the repetition breeds confidence. And the confidence builds a certainty in the actions. So I'm going to drop, we have a couple minutes here. They're going to share with you where the forum is in Brooklyn. After I leave, I'm just going to put the link to the event in. If anyone wants to go on, click the link now. We're going to start sharing it more publicly in this upcoming week. But we want to give everyone a chance today if they want to come. I would love to see you. Steve, you could send this out to your agents since you come here every day. Robert will be promoting it. Rory will be promoting his regions. And, you know, over the upcoming weeks, you'll see a lot of stuff. But you guys are a family, so I would love to meet all of you in person. It'll be a really good time. And honestly, I don't know about you, but it's so nice to do this, but like when your Zoom friends come to life, it's like, I don't know if you have kids, it's like Toy Story, right? Like you start seeing people. I remember walking in Brooklyn and meeting Julie O'Malley for the first time and her buddy Jody. And I want to run up and give them a huge hug because I felt like I really knew them because we've been doing this for like a year. It's a one-day event, right? I suggest people that are in this group, everyone's going to be in a forum, right? So if I were to get the most out of this, I would set up, if I was in this group, a little meetup amongst yourselves on Monday night, right? Like get into town early, set up dinners with people. It's no different than like a little retreat, right? Make make it great for you by meeting the people that you spend time with here every day, right? And Lloyd, I'm going to be in San Diego Wednesday, so I hope you signed up for that event that they're doing. So I look forward to meeting you in person. And look, I just want to end with this. I want to really acknowledge how challenging what you're doing is. It really is. I've been part of real estate since I was 23 years old, which is the last 15 years and almost half my life. This, I believe, is one of the most challenging markets you'll ever see, right? You have whatever's left of COVID now. You have the people talking about a war. You know, the most expensive place to hang out now is the gas station, right? Like, these things are real, right? Like, there's all of this different stuff going on. And in the midst of it, you're dealing with people that want this and want that and want another thing from you and another thing from you and another thing from you. So you need to build that body armor to be able to fight this. You need to have time blocking and consistency on what you do, so you have certainty in your life on where your income's coming from. Right? So yeah, not as hard as being Ukrainian. Right? One of the things I saw someone do on LinkedIn the other day is they reached out and they found like a local family in Airbnb, and they just rented it out and didn't go. And like the people wrote back and everything else. It was very inspiring. So I think I will be doing the same this week, finding random Airbnbs of just families and renting them out. So there's a lot of different things you can do to support people, but you also have to support yourselves first, right? That whole put your oxygen mask off first. Find people here, connect with them. Brooke will drop the link into the forum for the accountability, the role playing. There's at least 20, 30 people from our 10 by 10 in there that posted for role play. So reply to them and reach out to them, right? Start building your agent network. So tomorrow, Steve Halpern will be talking about how to brand, like make each property its own brand. And then on Wednesday, Justin's going to be here talking about role playing. These guys have been role playing now, I believe, for like 2 years, and Justin's converting his pitches at like a 90% rate. So it's incredible. So they're going to share with you how they practice, what they practice, and everything else, so that you guys can have an idea too. So the forum's there. If you're not on our platform, stay on. They're going to show you guys how to do it, how to find the resources, and everything else. Stephen, we'll send you a separate email as well with the link. And look, guys, I will see you guys next Monday. I love you all. My friends in San Diego, I will see you on Wednesday. Adios.